There's always something new to learn, including ways to take care of your skin. Courtney is hanging out with an expert this morning, teaching us all.
Yes. Okay, so we've got Morgan Gonzalez with us this morning. We're uplifting, and we're talking about the eyes. All those bags, the Louis, whatever you want to call them. We're talking about how to uplift them because it really uplifts the whole face, yeah?
It does, yes.
Okay. Stunning model.
Yes.
You don't look like you have bags at all, but we're using her to show,
yes.
to demonstrate.
Yes. So how to conceal dark circles and bags, especially this time of year with allergies and our eyes are getting puffier and maybe we're lacking some sleep. So we're going to do a couple of steps.
Okay.
So the first thing to actually correct dark circles is not to go in with your concealers, because what concealers do is brighten the under eye. So we actually
calls
want
attention to.
Yes.
Use that.
So we want to correct. So we're going to use something that has a little bit more of a salmony or orangey underbase, depending on what color your dark circles are, which most of the time they're those bluer undertones. So we're going to use a corrector that looks a little bit more orange, and we're just going to focus on the areas that she might have some darkness. So right here in the inner corners, maybe along the under eye, not getting too close to the lash line because we want to keep it looking natural. And we're patting that in instead of rubbing. You don't really want to rub too much under the eye area. And I like to use more of a fluffy brush instead of those traditional concealer brushes because it helps blend and makes our jobs a lot easier.
I do want to show you said a little bit orangier, just so that people can see what that product looks like. Because when you say orange, depending obviously on your skin tone, that's what you're talking about. It could be from anywhere from coral to like a
bright orange. Yes, yes. And there's brands out there that for the deeper skin tones that have like a very bright orange, and then lighter ones, probably a little bit more on that lighter salmony color. And then we're going to go in with a concealer that's 1 to 2 shades lighter than her skin tone because we do still want to kind of brighten those under eyes. So something along this line for my model. And then we are going to, again, just kind of do a little bit right here in the corner, and then to lift, as you mentioned, for ladies who might be of a certain age range, they might want to they might want to lift. And so here's a fun little trick. You go from the corner of the eye and you just use that concealer to create that effect of lifting. And then again, I'm not going to go too much into the center here because I'm going to blend that out. And again, using a fluffier brush, or you can go in if you are a lady that is lazy/busy and you want to get in, get out, get on with your life. I love the Good Beauty blender. You want to wet it, make sure you wet it. And then we're just going to tap it in there to blend that out. And it's going to give that lifted appearance, help with any dark circles, under eye. Now, if you have puffiness, one trick to do is to add that lighter concealer, but just add it where the puff meets the crease, if that makes sense.
Meets the crease. No, it totally makes sense. Where the puff meets the crease.
Where the puff meets the crease. And we would just literally pop it, because what that is going to do, light brings things out, right? So we're going to kind of bring that crease out a little bit, not to get it on the puff, and then blend it out again. So
and then you set it at when you're done.
Yes. So setting it, we are all not young and 20 where we can cake it on with that baking that was big a couple of years ago. So something to do, you can do now with either a pressed powder or a loose powder. You get your brush, again a fluffy brush, packed on with some loose powder. We're going to spray it with a setting spray. And then make sure you don't have any more creases. That's one big thing people forget to do, is to remove any creases before they set it. And then we're just gonna go in there with that setting powder that's a little bit damp with the setting spray.
All right.
And that will help set it.
Okay, so she is Morgan with Morgan Merrill Beauty. We're linking all the details to our website, gooddaysacramento.com, under show info and today's date for future reference. But right now, if you've got some burning beauty questions, we want to increase your beauty IQ. Email them to us, goodday@kmaxtv.com. We'll come back in the 10 o'clock hour and answer those questions for you. Thank you so much, ladies.
Thank you.
All right.
take your beauty routine to the next level with the help of a pro. Court standing by with esthetician Morgan Gonzalez to answer your questions this morning. Hey, guys.
Yes. Okay. So we got a couple of questions about foundation in particular. So the first one was application of the foundation. When do you use a brush as opposed to the beauty blenders like we were using in the last hour, or your fingertips? How do you know what to use and when?
Okay. So fingers is, of course, the lazy/busy, but make sure your hands are clean.
Yeah.
I don't love to use my hands with foundation application because the oils from your hands can kind of mess with the oils of the foundation.
Okay.
So I do prefer tools when you're using foundation. However, if you are a tinted moisturizer person in the summer, hands, please just put it on like your moisturizer.
Okay.
But when you're using a foundation, again, I like to apply it with a brush first.
Okay.
And then if I'm in a hurry or lazy/busy, a sponge.
Okay.
So I'm going to apply my foundation with the brush all over, disperse it all over, and then you can blend it out with the brush using a patting motion. Again, you don't really want to rub because that's just going to remove some of the foundation.
Okay.
If you got too much foundation, rubbing it is okay, but then using that sponge to blend it out.
Blend it all out. Okay.
Now I did grab this brush as well because we're used to this traditional foundation brush, but we don't really use these a lot. This is great for somebody who might need to might have larger pores or some areas where they really want to pack on some foundation. So this is good to kind of create a little of that packing and then blend it out with your brush.
Okay. Sticking with the foundation question. Now I know this probably, I don't know how you feel about people who work out with makeup on. I am one of those people.
Okay.
I don't have time to go wash my face and do all, let's just go. Let's get this going.
Yeah.
If you work out with your makeup on, is there a certain type of foundation that is best for people who decide to do that?
I would definitely say a powder because it's more breathable. So the powder foundation, loose or pressed, would be better option. And of course, for most people, if they're going to work out right after work, right, they're not going to go take their makeup off.
Right.
Listen, I get that. You just want to make sure you take it off right when you get home, not letting it sit. But if you are self-conscious or you are going to the gym with some kind of makeup on or need to put something on, I would recommend a powder just to let the skin breathe.
Okay, powders let the skin breathe. How can folks find you at Morgan Merrill Beauty?
Yes, so we are on Instagram, mmbeauty.sacramento. Our website is mmbeautysacramento.com, and we are kind of sort of on TikTok, mmbeauty.sacramento as well.
You sound like us. We're kind of sort of on TikTok. We're trying to be better.
Yes.
Yes, it's the wave of the future.
It is the wave of the future, yes.
We're going to make it super easy and link all the details to our website, gooddaysacramento.com, under show info and today's date. Stick around. We got more Good Day on the other side of this break.